Welcome back. A live look here in Honolulu, Hawaii, this Thursday morning. In neighboring Maui, more than 2 weeks after those deadly wildfires, officials say more than 115 people are dead and also around 1,000 remain missing.
Lauren Matsumoto is the Hawaii House Republican leader joining us. Diamond Garcia is a Hawaii state representative, both joining us this morning. I want to say thank you. I know it is early for you to get up and to speak with us this morning. Very important, though, for others of the American people to understand exactly what is happening here. Lauren, if I could start with you, just an update this morning for those watching. Do you have one in terms of what is happening there in Maui, in Lahaina?
As was mentioned, there's 115 that are dead and 850 to 1,000 that are still missing, and just such a traumatic time for the people of Hawaii. But I do want to mention there's just been an outpouring of support from all of the residents. I mean, there's more donations, physical donations, than they can handle right now. But what they're really asking for is those monetary donations, because the families are needing specific help there. And just really that we're focused completely on the relief efforts still. They haven't even finished searching the area. And so that's the forefront and the focus that we're looking at right now.
It's just the beginning when it comes to trying to rebuild a beautiful community. Diamond, there's a new report out that I had to ask you about. The Associated Press reporting some troubling new findings. This is, again, we're going back in time about 2 weeks ago when the fire was spreading rapidly, and they're reporting that there were barricades blocking access to Highway 30. Again, this is according to AP sources. One family swerving around the barricade and was safe in a nearby town 48 minutes later. Another drove their four-wheel drive car down a dirt road to escape. But again, if you were following the direction of these barricades, maybe your family wasn't as lucky. Is there truth to this report? What have you heard?
Yes, from what I heard on the ground and from those who lived through that tragic day was that they were ushered down to one street to exit Lahaina. And unfortunately, there were police officers who were blocking it, hence the reason why so many cars were stopped. And in gridlock on that one street. So you see the photos and video footage now, you see cars lined up because they were bottlenecked into one area. So this is why our House Republican caucus has called for the legislature to open up a separate investigation so we can get to the bottom, to the truth, because the people of Lahaina deserve the truth. We need to know exactly what happened that day because there were so many things that don't add up, that don't make sense, and we need to have answers. With over 1,000 people still unaccounted for, we need to have answers.
I'll pose that same one, Lauren, to you. Do you agree there with the State Rep Diamond Garcia on that? Are there more answers as well? Maybe something, maybe more that needs to be looked at, in your opinion?
Absolutely. And that's why our Republican caucus sent a memo to the Speaker of the House, really to look into what's happening here. With the amount that are missing and dead, there has to be things that we could have done better, and making sure that we have that investigative committee to make sure we're looking into each and everything. But I will say my husband is a firefighter and my brother as well. And the conditions that day were just, it was this perfect storm. It was almost like a blowtorch. And so we need to look forward to make sure that something like this never happens again. But as I said before, the focus right now needs to really be on the residents and the relief effort there.
Indeed. Diamond, there was a lot of discussion about the decision not to ring the emergency alarm at the time when the wildfires were spreading. Looking back on that, of course, knowing what we know now, was that a mistake that officials did not sound the emergency alarm, despite it typically being used to warn residents of tsunamis?
100%. Everybody who made it out by the grace of God that day says if people had just known something was happening, they would have had time to escape. I mean, that could have, not saying that would have saved everyone, but that could have given people a chance to look outside and know what was going on. When you look at the Hawaii Emergency Management website, one of the conditions of using those alarm systems is wildfires. So the excuse that that gentleman Amada made in that we normally use those for tsunamis that was reprehensible. People are dead, children are dead, and that was a mistake, 100%.
I want to go to, obviously, the federal response here, too, as well, Ms. Matsumoto, if I can. President Joe Biden visiting the area earlier this week, speaking to residents, obviously touring the grounds or near that area. But it is drawing criticism after remarks that were made. I want to play these for you here and get your response here, Stan.
You guys catch the boots out here? That's a hot ground, man. I don't want to compare difficulties, but we have a little sense, Jill and I, what it's like to lose a home. To make a long story short, I almost lost my wife, my 67 Corvette, and my cat. But all kidding aside, I watched the firefighters, the way they responded.
So the Associated Press is saying, in terms of the story that the president is telling here, that fire he's referring to was about 20 years ago in Delaware, was contained to a kitchen, under control in about 20 minutes, obviously devastatingly different than what is experienced in your areas. But then there's a video showing the president appearing seemingly potentially asleep or uninterested in the moment here while meeting with residents here in Maui. This went on for some 30 seconds plus. Lauren, I hate to get into the politics of it, but this is the leader of the free world. This is the man that will be signing $700 checks to send to Hawaii. Is there a missed moment here? Do you have an opinion on the president's visit? Was there major movement made there?
You know, I'm glad the president finally came to visit Hawaii after, 2 weeks that we had this horrible disaster, to see how much aid we need here in Hawaii and how much support we need, because it is just astronomical. But it's not a time to compare. I think there was a lot of people that were really frustrated because, people lost their homes, they lost their businesses, and they lost loved ones. In Hawaii, we are a really tight-knit community, and people, all of your neighbors, everybody from any island, you have friends or family that have lost people. And so it is not a time to compare. It is a time to show empathy and to really make sure that aid is coming through.
Diamond, what message would you like to send to the President of the United States?
Get off your high horse, sir. What an embarrassment. People have lost everything here in Hawaii, in Lahaina. There's nothing left. And he comes here and jokes about a kitchen fire, talking about his 67 Corvette. What an embarrassment and an insult to the people of Hawaii.
We'll leave it right there. We appreciate that, again, the time that is taken by both of you this morning. Again, we know it's early, but important to get the message out from you who is there. Our thoughts, our prayers are with you, with your loved ones, with your friends, with your community. Hawaii House Republican Leader Lauren Matsumoto, Hawaii State Representative Diamond Garcia. Thank you.